Hi everyone, NETFQ here and welcome to EVE Online. Today I'd like to show you the 4 different jump freighter types. There's one from the Galante Federation, the Amar Empire, the Mimitar Republic and the Caldari State. The Ansha from the Galante Federation, capacity 137,500 cubic meters. Fuel type oxygen isotopes, fuel used per light year 9,400 units. Shield capacity 16,800 HP, armor hit points 48,000 HP, structure hit points 132,000 HP. The Ark from the Amar Empire, capacity 135,000 cubic meters, fuel type helium isotopes, fuel used per light year 8,800 units. Shield capacity 12,000 HP, armor hit points 55,200 HP, structure hit points 120,000 HP. The Nomad from the Mimitar Republic, capacity 132,000 cubic meters, fuel type hydrogen isotopes, fuel used per light year 8,200 units. Shield capacity 57,600 HP, armor hit points 26,400 HP, structure hit points 78,000 HP. The Rhea from the Caldari State, capacity 144,000 cubic meters, fuel type nitrogen isotopes, fuel used per light year 10,000 units, shield capacity 60,000 HP, armor hit points 18,000 HP, structure hit points 93,000 HP. Now depending on your circumstances would depend on which jump freighter you actually want to use. Now the one with the most capacity is actually the Rhea. This holds the most at 144,000 M3, but this is base though, don't forget, so your skills and the modules that you use with it will obviously beef that up, but at its standard rate it's 144,000 M3 that you can use. Now the one with the most hit points is actually the Anshar, and that has where is it? That has 196,800 hit points. So it's very tanky, and it looks like a big old blob. Now the one that uses the less fuel is actually the Nomad, but subsequently that's the one that has the smallest cargo hold of only 132,000 cubic meters. But yeah, again, it only uses 8,200 fuel blocks, or fuel units I should say. Now, sorry, I'd just like to pause it here for a bit just to acknowledge Ansha, who is a Moose Army member, and he has generously let me borrow his Nomad jump freighter so I can make this video. Thank you, Ansha. You are absolutely fantastic, and I really appreciate you letting me borrow your Nomad. Right, back to the video. That raises a good question about how do you get the fuel for it? Well, the fuel is actually processed from ice products. So you go out to an ice belt and you go and you mine ice blocks. And when you reprocess those ice blocks, depending on the type of ice, you'll get one of these isotopes. It's either going to be an oxygen isotope, a helium, hydrogen, or a nitrogen isotope. Now these isotopes are only available in certain regions of space. For instance, the oxygen isotope is only available in space owned by the Galante Federation, and the helium isotopes is only available in space owned by the Amar Empire, and for the hydrogen isotopes that's Mimitar Republic, and the nitrogen isotopes is the Caldari State. So depending on the region that you live, it may be best to get the jump freighter specific to that region, so you can make use of the ice available in that region. And if you're a miner as well, yeah, it's even better. You can go out and mine it yourself rather than buy it off the market. So there's pros and cons to that. I mean, basically, if you go to Jita, the price for the different types of isotopes is relatively the same. It fluctuates, of course. So if you're not really too bothered about going out and mining this stuff yourself, then it really doesn't matter about which jump freighter you use. It all depends on basically two things. One, how much hit points you need, i.e. are you going into hostile space where there's a high chance that you may be ganked, so you need a lot of HP to try and survive it before Concord comes along and rescues you. And two, yeah, how much stuff you actually want to transport. Again, the Nomad has the least amount of space at 132,000 M3. The Rhea has the most at 144,000 M3. Now, talking about the tank, obviously the Rhea has more tank than the Nomad, but then again, if you really want the most beefy tank, go with the the Ansha. I personally, being in Esoteria, I fly the Ark. That seems to be, in the middle. It basically has the second highest tank, and it is just, how much is that? That's 600 more fuel used than the Nomad. So it's a pretty decent all-round jump freighter. So that's why I like flying this guy. Yeah, it took a while to load, and there he is here. Really, really good all-round jump freighter. And of course, it actually uses the helium isotopes, which are processed from the ice products available in Esoteria. So myself being a miner, sometimes I go out and mine ice blocks, so I don't have to I don't have to pay for the jump fuel used for this guy. But yeah, there are pros and cons to it, and I'll leave that up to you. Right, let's look at the skills required to actually fly a jump freighter. So if I right click on the Anshar and go to show information and go to the requirements tab, you can see there's quite a few requirements that you need. The most notable ones here is you need advanced spaceship command at level 5. You also need industry level 5. And you also need jump drive operation at level 5. Now, they are, I guess, the main ones that are going to require quite a bit of time to actually train up. The other ones that you need is obviously the jump drive calibration skill, and you also need the Faction Pacific Freighter skill as well. Now, and let's have a look at the actual skills that I have, because all the stats I'm about to show you are going to be based on my skills. So if I go here and I search up for just the freighters, as you can see, Amar Freighter, Galente Freighter, Mimitar Freighter and Kaldari Freighter, I've got them only trained to level 4. And the actual main one, Jump Freighters, I've only got trained to level 3. So all these skills that I've got, or all the stats that I'm about to show you, are based on the current level of skills that I've got trained. And the other one is the conservation one, the fuel conservation. Jump fuel conservation. So this one gives you a 10% reduction in isotope consumption amount for jump drive operations per light year, and I've got that trained to level 5. So that gives me a 50% reduction. Now each jump freighter has its own set of bonuses based on the skills that you have. For instance, if we go and right click on the Ark here and go show info, in the traits page, as you can see, it's saying a Amar Freight bonus per skill level. So for every skill level you have a Amar Freighter at, it's going to give you a 5% bonus to the ship cargo capacity, as well as a 5% bonus to the ship inertial modifier. And for the jump freighter skill, remember I've got jump freighters at only level 3, it gives you a 10% bonus to the ship armor and hull hit points per level. as well as a reduction or 10% reduction in jump fuel requirements. So because I've got this trained up to level 3, that is basically a 30% discount that I've also got on top of my 100% discount to the reduction in jump fuel requirements. And if that was at level 5, then that'll be an additional 50% discount, or reduction I should say. And of course the roll bonus, you get 100% reduction in reinforced bulkhead CPU requirements. Because as you know, with the jump freighters, they don't have any CPU. I think it's only 6. And if you have a look here, if we go to, where is it? There you go, CPU requirements is 35. So without that 100% reduction, we wouldn't be able to fit these reinforced bulkheads, which I will talk about shortly. But anyway, so yeah, definitely worth it. So Amar gives you armor and hull hit points, as well as increased cargo capacity. If we have a look at the Anshar, again it gives you a 5. Oh, actually, let's go back here. Yeah, so it's basically a 5% increase in cargo capacity for both the Ark and Ansha, and again the same jump freighters bonus, which is the ship armor and hull hit points, a 10% increase per skill level, and of course a 10% reduction in jump fuel. We go to the Nomad and have a look. Again, the same 5% bonus to the ship cargo and inertial modifier, but here instead of the armor and hull, it gives you a 10% bonus to the ship shield and hull, which is quite interesting. And yeah, a 10% reduction in jump fuel requirements, which is fine. And let's see what the Rhea gives you. The Rhea gives you, again, the same 5% bonus to the ship cargo hold and the initial modifier. And yeah, again, this is like the Nomad. It gives you a 10% bonus to the ship shield and hull hit points. And of course, the standard jump fuel requirement, 10% reduction. So yeah, pretty interesting. So the Ark and Ansha give you the armor hit point, and the Rhea and Nomad give you the shield hit point. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to know. Right, so let's go ahead and show you the stats. So since we're on the Ark already, we'll go and show info on this one. And everything in green, all the stats in green are affected by my current skills. So we have a look at here for the capacity. We have a capacity now of 162,000 M3. Now that is an increase in 37,000 M3 over the base, which is 135,000 M3. And the other one of note down here is the fuel consumption. It's all the way down to 3,080 compared to the 8,800, which is the base, and that gives you a saving of 5,720 units per light year, which is quite a lot. Right, let's go and have a look at the Anshar. So if we go and make active, and we'll close that window down. There it is, show info on this. Right, and the capacity here is now gone up to 165,000 M3, and that is from a base of 100. Oh no, sorry, I lied. Where is it? There you go, and that's down from a base of 100. Sorry, I shouldn't say down. That's up from a base of 137,500. So that's a gain of 27,500 M3. And if we go down here to the fuel consumption, there it is there. It's only 3,290 units. And that's down from a base of 9,400. So that's a savings of 6,110 units of fuel per light year, which is quite a lot. Right, now let's go down to the Nomad, make active. show information on the Nomad. Right, there we go. The capacity now is 158,400, and that is up from a base of only 132,000 M3. So that's an increase in what's that, 26,400. And if we go down here to the fuel consumption used, that's now down to 2,870 from the base of 8,200. So that's a savings in 5,330 units per light year, which is quite a lot. Right, and last but not least is the Rhea. So if we make this active, there we go, and go and show info. Right, so the capacity is now shot up to 172,800 from the base of 144,000. So that's an increase in 28,800. And if we scroll down here to the fuel consumption used, it's now only 3,500, down from 10,000. So that's a savings of 6,500 units per light year, which is quite a lot. Now that's not all. If we go and actually have a look at the fittings for the jump freighters, they all have 3 low slots. And there are some modules that I highly recommend you buy to actually put in these low slots. And let's have a look at these modules now. So if I go down to my item hanger, there are 2 modules here. There's a prototype jump drive economizer, and there is an ore expanded cargo hold. Now we have a look at the stats for the economizer. As you can see there, it gives you a bonus of 10% less consumption of fuel used. So where does it say that? Yeah, this unit decreases the isotope fuel requirements for Starship jump drive. So this gives you a 10% less fuel bonus, which is fantastic. And of course, you can fit 3 of them in your ship. Now there are drawbacks. Obviously, yeah, penalty using more than one of a similar type module will affect the same attribute, blah blah blah. So you're not going to get 30% less fuel used. It's going to be a percentage of that. I'm not sure how it's worked out, but again, yeah, at the end of the day, the more of these you have, the less fuel you're going to burn, which is basically what you want. The other one being the ore expanded cargo hold. If we go and have a look at the stats in that, this one here gives you a 29% capacity increase in your cargo hold. Now, it does come back with a drawback, and that means that the structure hit points of your freighter is going to go down by 20%. But yeah, that's hearsay. I'll get to that in a bit. Now, there are other modules that you can put in here. Namely, you can get the bulkhead. I forget what they're called. What are they called? Bulk. What are they called? Ship equipment. There we go. Sorry, reinforced bulkheads. Now you can fit these in, and these modules here, they give you an increase in the structure hit points, 25% increase. But again, you're going to be losing 11% in your cargo capacity. I don't bother with these for the simple reason, my philosophy is, if I get ganked in high sec, or null sec for that matter, I'm going to consider myself dead, because there's nothing I can do about it. If I get scrammed or webbed, scrammed or warp disrupted, I can't jump out. I'm stuck there and I have no defense, so I don't have any offense capabilities. I'm just basically a sitting duck. So if there's a gang and they've got me, I'm pretty much resigned to losing my jump freighter. So that's why I don't bother with these. I mean, the only thing these are going to do is make you live a bit longer. That's all. But if there's a big gang in null, or even a small gang in nullsec, they'll still kill you before help's going to get there. In highsec, if they gank you, normally it's 100, 200, and depending on the security level of the system, you're pretty much dead before Concord's going to come along anyway. So that's why there are measures that you should always take when you're going through highsec, and that's scouting the path to your destination station, and also to have an exit signer ready to light. So if you see something's not quite right, something's a bit fishy, you can instantly jump out. So yeah, but that's a video for a different time. So yeah, you can fit these reinforced bulkheads just to increase your tank, but yeah, I honestly don't think these are worth it much. Anyway, let's go back to this. So yeah, expanded cargo hold, really important. It allows you to take a hell of a lot more cargo, and these economizers are really useful, especially if you don't have that much cargo in your ship. It's always best to fit these, because then you get to save money in fuel costs. Now these two modules, they are quite expensive. If you have a look here, the ore expanded cargo hold, though, yeah, it's an estimated value of 160 million is per unit. And these economizers, again, they're about 233 million per unit. So they are quite expensive, but I highly recommend that you get them. So let's just show you what they can do. So here we are in my Rhea. If I put in these 3 ore expanded cargo holds, and we go back and have a look at our stats now, as you can see, our capacity has now shot up to 370,948 48 M3, and that basically is giving you 226,948 M3 more than the base of only 144,000, which is a hell of a lot. So highly recommend you doing, if you've got a lot of stuff to move, I highly recommend you getting these, because it's going to beef the capacity up quite a lot. But again, it does give you a penalty to your structure hit points, and as you can see, that's now down to 77,000, hence why it's in red. Right, let's go and have a look to see what these economizers do. So we'll take out these expanded cargo holds, and we'll stick in these economizers. There we go. We go have a look at the stats now, and we scroll down to the fuel used. There it is there. So the fuel used is gone way down to only 2,712, and that's from a base of 10,000. So that's a savings of 7,288 units per light year jump, which is a hell of a lot that you get to save, which is brilliant. Right, so that's the Rhea. Let's take this out, and we shall then go and jump in the Nomad, and we'll do the same and see what sort of stats we get for this one. Alright, there we go. So we'll start off with the ore expanded cargo hold. We'll stick 3 of them in. We'll have a look at the stats. Right, there we go. So now that's jumped up from a base of 132,000 all the way up to 340,000 and 35, which is quite a lot, rounded up 36. So that gives you a increase in 208,036 M3, which is quite a bit. Right, let's take these out, and we'll put in the economizers, and we'll see what sort of stats we get then. We'll stick 3 of them in, and we'll go to show info, scroll down to jump drive, And there we go, it's now 2,223, and that's down from a base of 8,200. So that's a savings of 5,977 units per light year, which is quite a bit. Right, let's now take these out, and we'll go and have a look at the arc. Now, don't forget, all these stats, all these numbers that I'm showing you are all based not only in the modules that I'm sticking in, but also my skills that I have in the various things. So always keep that in mind. Right, so this is the arc. Let's put in our all expanded cargo holds. And we'll go have a look at the info for these. Right, there we go. And the capacity now has jumped up to 347,464 M3, and that's from a base of only 135,000. So that's giving us an increase in 212,764 M3, which is quite a bit. It's quite good. Right, let's take out these expanded cargo holds, and we shall put in our economizers. Let's have a look at the info for this. Let's have a look at our fuel, and that's now dropped down to 2,387 units, and that's from a base of 8,800. So that's a savings of 6,413 units per light year, which is quite a lot. Right, let's take these out. And yeah, we shall go and have a look at the last jump freighter, the Anshar. Wait for that to load. There we go. Right, we'll put in our expanded cargo holds. And we'll have a look at the info for this guy. And yeah, so the capacity has now shot up to 354,204 cubic meters, and that's from a base of only 137,500. So that's an increase in 216,704 M3, which is quite a lot. Right, let's take out them and put in our economizers. And yeah, we'll see how much fuel we get to save. Right, we'll scroll down to the fuel, and there we have it. 2,549 units, and it's down from a base of 9,400. So that's a savings of 6,851 units per jump, or per light year, I should say, not jump. Yeah, so that's quite a lot of savings there. And you may be thinking, well, what does this all mean? You know, these stats don't seem a lot. I mean, why do I care if I save 6,000 units per light year jump? Well, let me show you. Now, Dotlan is a website to do with maps in EVE Online, and it's a fantastic site, and I'm sure that anyone that's played EVE Online for any period of time is aware of it and has used it at least once. It's a fantastic resource, and I use it just about every day. And one of the great features about it, if we go under navigation, they have a jump planner, and that allows you to map out a route from your source to your target destination. And yeah, I use it quite often. So if I plan a route, let's say I want to go from Jita in HiSec, and I want to go all the way back to DTAC-P in Esoteria in Nullsec, and I say I'm going to be flying an ARC jump freighter. My fuel conservation skill is at level 5. My jump freighter skill is going to be at level 3, and I say go. And what this is going to do is this is going to calculate what it thinks is the best route from Jita all the way to DTAC-P based on my skills that I entered. And yeah, there we go. It's saying it's going to take how many jumps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumps in total. And if we scroll down here to this information box down here, now the total distance traveled is 59.23 light years. And based on my skills, it's saying that I'm going to be using 182,425 helium isotopes. Now that's one way, don't forget. So if I was to go back to Jita, I'd be basically using around the same amount. So let's just double that. So it's now going to cost me for a round trip 364,850 helium isotopes, which is quite a lot. And if we go to Eve appraisal and we stick in that amount there, and let's just see what the Jita price for that is going to be. So if I bought that amount of helium isotopes in Jita, it's basically going to cost me 200 million in fuel just to make a trip down to Jita and back. So the last thing I want to touch on is how I go about fitting my jump freighter, and that all depends on the cargo that you want to take. Will determine how many expanded cargo hold modules you will have and how many prototype jump drive economizers you will have. So for an example, I have 200,000 M3 of titanium, and if I try and fit this in an unfitted Ansha, it's going to say, oh, can't do it, I don't have enough space. So what I like to do when I go about fitting courier contracts or bits that I want to take to a different system, I start by putting all the expanded cargo holds in the jump freighter, and that's going to give me the most amount of space that I can have. And then I go and I say, right, let's stick everything that I want to take with me in the jump freighter. So let's take our titanium and stick that in. And if we go into our cargo hold, as you can see, I've used up 200,000 M3 of 354,000 M3. So I have quite a lot of empty space that is pointless me having, because there's nothing else that I want to take with me. So it's just wasted space. So what I like doing is I like taking off these expanded cargo holds until I have just enough space to carry the cargo that I want. So as you can see, I'm still over capacity. I'm over capacity by, I'm under capacity, well, over capacity, yeah, I guess that's the word, by 74,503. So I can take another one out. Now I'm over capacity by 12,000 M3. So let's try and take out the last or expanded cargo hold. Right, now I'm definitely under capacity. I've got over 20,000 M3 in my cargo hold, but my cargo hold can only take 165,000 M3. And if I try and undock, it's going to say, boom, can't do it. Somehow you've overloaded your cargo hold, and it won't let me undock. So I need at least one expanded cargo hold in my jump freighter, and that only leaves me 12,000 M3 of free space, which is fine. Now that leaves me with 2 empty slots here. So I go ahead and I put the prototype jump drive economizers in there. So I use the expanded cargo holds to give me enough space, just enough space that I need to take the load that I want, and I fill the rest up with prototype jump drive economizers. Now it's always good to have or carry with you 3 of each. So I've got 2 of the expanded cargo holds in my hold, as well as 1 in the freighter itself. I've got 2 economizers in the freighter, which means I should take 1 economizer in my cargo hold. And that means when I reach my destination, if there's something there that I need to take back, I can do exactly the same thing. I can mix and match between the expanded cargo holds and the prototype jump drive economizers just to maximize the fuel efficiency of my jump freighter depending on the amount of cargo that I want to take. Anyway, that's it. What I will do in the next couple of weeks is I will actually make another video, and that's going to be about actually how to fly a jump freighter, what you need to do when going through a high sec, and yeah, what you need to do with your sino alts as well to light sinos. The other thing that I will mention, which I think is very, very important, is if you don't have access to dot lands, the in-game Eve map does actually show you how far you can actually jump. So if I go here and I go to my Eve map, wherever that is, there it is there, it will basically show me the system that I'm on, which is the system that I'm inside, which is in DP. And if I scroll out, you see this white circle here? This white circle actually is showing you the maximum distance that I can actually jump to, which is fantastic. So all of these systems, basically all of Esoteria and some of Paragon Soul, I can actually jump to. So it's a really, really great tool to actually show you where you can jump. And one of the great things about it is if I went to my map, which I'm here, and I go and I say I want to actually go to, let's say, Zero Teco, which is another system in Esoteria. So if I say set destination, there we go, it's going to display that on the map as well. And as long as the destination, which is right here, is within this white sphere, oh, I can't pronounce that. Sphere, oh, I can't pronounce it. If the destination is within the white circle, it means it's within jump range. So I can definitely jump to that system there. Alright, but again, if I say, alright, I want to go to this system over here, set destination, yeah, as you can see, it's outside of the white circle. So there's no way that I'll be able to jump to this system. What I would have to do is make multiple jumps. I'd probably have to jump to this system first, this CTAC-P system, and then from that system do another jump over to K-9. So yeah, if you don't have dot lands, this is the next best thing. It shows you, yeah, what systems are in range that you can jump to. So it is, yeah, quite good, the in-game Eve map. Anyway, enough of me talking. Yeah, so look out for the next video. If I've created it, there should be a link popping up around now, and there'll be a link in the description of this video to it. If I haven't made it yet, obviously they won't pop up yet, but it is on the cards and I will be making it. It's basically going to show you how to jump, how to set up your sinos, and how to gate from a low sec system into high sec to take your jump freighter to a trade hub like Vegeta. So look out for that one. If you have any questions, comments, please comment down below and let me know, and I'll definitely answer them. And that's basically about it. If you haven't liked this video, please go ahead and do it. Even if you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs down. At least that lets me know what you guys think of it. And if you haven't already, I really would appreciate you subscribing to my channel. It really will help me a lot. Until the next time, fly safe and bye for now.